Spiders are some of the most widely feared creatures in the world due to their unsettling appearance and potential to have dangerous, venomous bites. Being such a diverse group of animals, there are bound to be some creepy looking ones out there, from spindly-legged cave dwellers to giant, palm-sized orb weavers. I'm Mikey Green, and my goal is to show just how little we know about the strange creatures living their hidden lives all around us every day. Part of this goal is to dispel myths about over-feared animals like spiders. So I have handled hundreds of them in dozens of different families with countless sizes and a large range of venom toxicity levels, just to show how misunderstood and important spiders are to the ecosystem. But in this endeavor, even I have had encounters with spiders that threw me off guard. Today, we're looking back at 5 of the creepiest looking spiders I have ever encountered. Our adventure starts on my college campus out of all places, joined by Spencer from the channel My Wild Backyard, in search of the southern house spider, an ancient species of spider that has established itself as a common species in urban North America. We were definitely dedicated to these captures, as you can see here, but it was definitely worth it, because look how amazing these spiders are.
Alright Spencer, do you know what species these 2 spiders we have here are?
Sure do. These are the southern house spiders, and gorgeous ones at that. Love these guys. I actually see them quite a bit back home in North Carolina, particularly whenever I'm visiting my old university, because I see them a lot on buildings in much more urban environments, and that's exactly how we found them today.
Yeah, and I've actually never seen this species up close, especially not big sized ones like this. So this is really cool. Now, you might be wondering, if they're all over the place, these things must be super common, right? Well, this is actually the only species in its entire group that has become this common. These are a member of a family of very primitive and rarely seen spiders called crevice weavers. However, in the United States, this is the only species that has made itself a common occurrence in these urban areas.
Not long after this, Spencer and I also found 2 of the most famously toxic spiders in North America, the brown widow and the black widow. When presenting these spiders, I had a close call with this black widow. This is not the only time I've had a strange encounter with a black widow though, and while black widows themselves are not inherently the scariest looking of spiders, what was strange was finding one in a shopping plaza in Central Florida.
Alright children, we're in an oddly urbanized area right now. We're actually just outside of a store in a parking lot. There are a bunch of cars around, a lot of urbanized movement going around, but that is not bothering this beautiful spider. Right behind me right here is the southern black widow, and a massive female at that. She has an abdomen or an opistosoma absolutely full of eggs. She is almost certainly going to get her egg sac ready in probably just a few days from now. But that's not the only part of her that's absolutely huge. Her leg span too is just massive, especially by widow spider standards. I have never seen a black widow this big before, or a widow spider in general, not a red, not a brown this big. This is just an impressive individual. Also, it's not only the size of this individual that's impressive, she has some gorgeous patterns for a southern black widow. You can see on the top of her opistosoma, there's these little white circles, which usually those disappear by the time a mactans, Latrodectus mactans, gets this big. Usually, once they get this large, their entire body is black, except for that distinctive bright red hourglass.
Next, our adventure takes us into the pine forest of southern Florida in search of a classic spider of the southeast, the golden silk orb weaver, also known as the banana spider. These impressive spiders can grow to the size of a hand's palm and have some of the most unique webs of any spider. Let's get up close to this beautiful arachnid.
Check this thing out. This one I have found right here is a big female golden silk orb weaver. Check out how big she is. Golden silk orb weaver is also known as the banana spider, and the reason they're called golden silk orb weavers is because take a look at that web. It's a nice yellow color. Take a look at this. This is a comparison on how big these female golden silk orb weavers can get. You can really see her patterning. Those legs are sharp and it actually hurts as she's walking on my skin. That's not too big of a problem. So these are a very common species in South Florida. see them basically everywhere I go, but her web was low enough for me to pick her off and show you up close all those beautiful details. The females are huge. They can actually get much bigger than this one right here. And this is a very large spider. So the females can get even bigger than this. The males, on the other hand, are tiny.
While the banana spiders rule the daytime in these habitats, different but equally as creepy orb weavers show themselves under the cover of night. While searching for glowing beetles at nighttime, we came across one of these giant nocturnal spiders. Let's take a look.
So this right here is the tropical orb weaver, which is a very large species of spider, as you can see compared to my hand. And it is one of the larger sized orb weaver species that we get here in Florida. The tropical orb weaver is one of the most common orb weaver species in their mostly tropical and subtropical range. These guys can be found from northern South America through Central America and Mexico, up into the southeastern United States and throughout the Caribbean islands, where they can be found in a variety of habitats, though mostly you tend to find these in more open spots in the middle of wooded areas. In this case, it's in between two trees in a scrub environment here in South Florida, but you could also find these out in urban areas, in cypress swamps and pine flatwoods, in rainforests, in a variety of different habitats, as long as there are open flying zones for insects, enough trees for them to build a web, but also enough open areas for these things to be able to make a big orb web and have a chance at catching some larger sized insects in it.
Finally, we have reached what in my opinion is the creepiest spider I have ever found. And it lives in caves? While exploring a rocky habitat in northern Georgia, we came across a member of an extremely ancient lineage of spiders living on the rocky walls around this beautiful cave system. Let's take a close look at this strange and unsettling looking arachnid.
Right here on the side of this rock, just barely outside of a beautiful cave, is the exact target we were out here looking for. This is the Lampshade Spider, one of the most unique species of spiders that you could find out here in northern Georgia, and in fact, out in North America in general. So I'm going to try and catch this insanely creepy looking spider and show it to you guys up close so we can learn all about the Lampshade Spider. Well, that's not what I was trying to do right there, but here is this amazing Lampshade Spider. All right, children, this right here is the Lampshade Spider. This is one of the most, if not the most unique species here in the eastern United States. They are an extremely primitive spider. In fact, they are probably our most primitive spider here in northern Georgia. They are somewhat of a missing link between the mygalomorphs, which are the most primitive spiders, those like tarantulas and trapdoor spiders, and the more recently evolved spiders, the araneomorphs, which are things like orb weavers, jumping spiders, and wolf spiders. These have the trait of the araneomorphs that their fangs are intersecting, which means that they face each other when they bite down on their prey. Whereas on a mygalomorph, like a trapdoor spider or a tarantula, their fangs point directly downwards. But unlike most araneomorphs, these lampshade spiders have two pairs of book lungs, which is a trait that is shared by the mygalomorphs. And as you can see, the way that they walk around is also unlike any other spider I've ever handled. Instead of moving around super frantically and using all their legs at once, they kind of move one leg at a time, as you can see, and they walk super slowly and almost in an admittedly creepy way. I'm the kind of person that finds pretty much every spider cute, but this, I can understand why someone would get creeped out looking at this little guy.
If you enjoyed this video, then make sure to check out this video right here, where we take a look at 5 of the weirdest fly species I have ever seen. Enjoy!